Good morning. You are watching Issues at Hand on Church of Uganda Family TV. My name is Bruno Edgard. Thank you for joining us in today's discussion as we are going to talk about gender-based violence. Now, there is currently a program called the 16 Days of Activism to raise awareness on gender-based violence, its forms, and how it can be curtailed in our society. And it's a really big problem because in 2020, 17,664 cases of domestic violence were registered with 18,872 victims. The victims being 3,408 men, 13,100 men are victims of gender-based violence too. Then 13,145 females, 1,133 boys, while 1,100 were 86 girls. Now this is according to the police annual report of 2020. Now 18 districts have over 100% increment in cases of gender-based violence, especially in the areas of Kayunga, Koboko, Kapchorwa, Bududa, Amolata, Macha, Kakumiro, Liantonde, among others. So it's a very big issue in this country, and it's something that needs to be brought to an end. There was an article this morning in the Daily Monitor that is talking about how there needs to be increased funding for the fight against gender-based violence in Uganda. Then we also had this week from the Deputy Speaker of the Parliament of Uganda, that's Thomas Taibu, talking about how there is a need for the construction of more shelters to provide for the victims of gender-based violence, that is for both male and females. So there's a lot that needs to be done, and there's a lot to get into when it comes to this discussion. That's why we have brought it to you here on Issues at Hand, that is proudly brought to you by Protea Hotel Entebbe. Now my guest for today to take us through all this is Afande Agnes Nantume, who is the officer in charge of Child and Family Protection Unit, Nateete Police Station. You are very welcome to Issues at Hand this morning.
Thank you, Bruno.
Thank you for joining us. Before we get into the hows and the whys and what is being done or what we can do to curtail this problem, we need to understand it outrightly. What is gender-based violence?
Yes, good morning, our dear listeners and viewers. My name is ASP Nantume Agnes, OC Child and Family Protection Unit, Nateete. Basically, gender-based violence, it is really a very big problem within our country, more so in the rural areas. At least in Kampala, some people have done what? Have known its effects. But in the rural areas, in the villages there, like you mentioned, the Kayunga, these days I think everyone is watching what is happening today, this, the other day, that. It is very what? It is a very big problem. In brief, gender-based violence, it is an act that is inflicted on someone depending on his or her biological sex. For example, an act that can be done to a woman because she's a woman. The appearance is a woman, the biological sex is for what? It is for a woman. So any harmful act, either action, either word, either a threat that is done depending to your sex, either female or a male. That is it in brief.
Which is a very important point, especially on the part for male, because when we talk about gender-based violence, and it is true that because of especially cultural practices and the patriarchal system that this globe has, that many of the victims of gender-based violence are women and girls. But we have also seen a rise in gender-based violence against men, and that's something important that needs to be highlighted. But we shall talk about that in greater effect later on. And now that we know what it is, especially the fact that it is particularly about genders, what are some of the forms of gender-based violence?
The forms, the main ones, we have the sexual. And this sexual part is main on women and what? And girls. This is where someone is forced, is hurt depending on the sexual feeling. Someone is forced into sex, someone is forced into marriage, someone is forced to get pregnant. So that sexual form is mainly on what? On women. Another form of gender-based violence, it is the physical part. The physical, this one includes beating, assault. Someone is beaten because he's a woman or because he's a man. They can start, like in the marketplace, they say, this man seems to be a thief. They start from there because you're a man and they start beating you. They are beating you because you are what? A man. That is the gender-based violence we are having these days. Another one is the emotional abuse. Someone is neglecting you, someone is denying you your right. Someone is doing certain acts that are hurting you emotionally because you have a certain what? A certain gender. Another form, I think we have the physical, the sexual, and the emotional. Those are the forms so far that are common. There are many others, but the common ones are those ones.
Another interesting form that people may not know about properly is financial violence, which is very interesting.
The economical, actually, I had forgotten the economical part. Denying someone to go for work, denying someone to freely access or be having what? His or her money. Because he's a woman, like a man, you are married to a certain man. When you get your salary, you have to carry it to the what? To the man. Mnange for you, a woman. So whenever you earn your 500, you bring here, it is me, the man, to do what? To budget for it. The economical violence is also there.
All right, and these forms will keep coming up during our discussion. But my next question is then, it is 2022. We have a lot of laws that are clearly stipulating that when it comes to sexual violence, physical violence, sexual harassment, and gender-based violence, and we shall talk about some of these laws later on. These laws stipulate that it is a crime, and that the crime, if someone is found guilty, this person will be sanctioned by the courts of Uganda and by the laws of Uganda. So why do we still have this problem of gender-based violence? Why is it on the rise? What is the cause of this issue in Uganda?
Causes are very many, and the first one that has been there since day one, it is our harmful norms and traditions. Like the Baganda might be having their traditions that if you were a woman, you are supposed to behave like that. You are brought up like a woman is not supposed to do A, B, C, D. So someone can do anything that can harm you because traditionally we were brought like that. A woman is supposed to kneel down. If you don't kneel, the man will slap you. That can cause what? Can cause the gender-based violence. Someone is, because you've not followed a certain tradition, there you are doing what? You will be punished because you've not done what the tradition has done, has put in place, that as women we have to follow, as men you have to do what? To follow that. Like we have a religion. Some religions don't involve women in their activities. They don't have women leaders. A woman is always supposed to be where? Behind. We have a region, we very well know that if when they go for prayers, the men sit in front, the women sit where? Behind. Meaning, for them, they know a woman has to be behind, which is also a cause. Because if you know, me, I'm always behind my husband, what will I say? You have to wait for your husband to talk, then you also do what? You respond, or you are not supposed to talk when a man is what? Is talking. So some religions are still causing this gender-based violence. They say a woman is not supposed to sit in front, or a woman is not supposed to be a leader in a certain church, just because you're a woman. It is men that are supposed to be on the front line. Another cause, it is the abuse of power. There are certain there are certain organizations that know that such activities are done by men. A woman can never be in power because he's a woman. Or a man can never be in that position because he's what? Because he's a man. Like for example, on Monday, I had a training of girl power. All of us were women. So we had only 2 doctors who were men. So their concern was like, but this thing, is it for women only? What if you empower the girl child? And then after that girl child is going to be married to a boy child, what is going to happen? You need to involve what? The boys also. And the excuse we could give that there are also other organizations taking up men, but indeed they are very few. That is true. They are very what? They are very few. So abuse of power, you find that certain things are done because of power, and they are saying, for us we are aiming at girls only. Girl child only, a boy child will be there. But in the end, a girl child is going to meet what? A boy child. So another cause, it is alcohol. Some of the violence we are experiencing, it is out of the influence of what? Of alcohol. Someone goes to the bar, drinks, and then is saying, let me go back and I work on my what? On my wife. Because the wife doesn't drink. So after that influence, someone goes and does what? The violence. Then we have another big problem that causes violence, the poverty part. This gender-based violence is basically affecting the what? The poor. Because me, if I have some money, there is some decisions I have to make. But if I tell this one, the poverty, nowadays it is affecting the men more. If the man is poor and the woman has some money, there the violence in the home will never end. So poverty also has caused more of the gender-based violence, because a man is supposed to be doing what he's not supposed to do because he doesn't have what? Money. And the woman is doing what he's not supposed to do because he's having what? Money. Now the woman will become the head of the family. So also poverty has affected us, and it has caused what? It has caused gender-based violence. We have the illiteracy part. Before
we get to illiteracy, actually on that point of poverty, and especially on that point when it comes to men not doing the duties they're supposed to be doing at home, I have a very big grapple with an ongoing trend when it comes to men and fathers in the society today. We are seeing a trend of men who don't want to work, who want to stay at home and watch TV, or want to stay at home and drink and just enjoy their good life while their wives are out trying to make ends meet. And like you've said clearly that this trend has followed the rise as well in gender-based violence, because there's going to be friction, definitely, because the man with his ego will ask the woman to bring all the money that she has worked for.
True.
And she has worked hard for that money, so she'll also have contention and frustration, and that will lead to violence there. And that's a very big problem, and something that needs to be fixed, especially when it comes to us as men being enlightened, being discipled, to open our eyes to certain things. So that one is a very important issue. When it comes to illiteracy, what does illiteracy have to do with gender-based violence?
Illiteracy is, some time back we had some issues where a girl child was not supposed to go to the university. If you get to know how to write your name, that is all. So here in this process, the girl child could be affected. The girl child was not exposed. A woman was not exposed, was not allowed to go to the university because just is a girl. So in this process, there are no decisions we are going to make. Like when I had just joined the police. My first deployment was in Lira. So everyone could be wondering, Afande, what inspired you to join police? You were a woman, you were still young, you were educated. What inspired? Everyone was wondering, what inspired me really to be what? To be in police. Because I was what? I was a woman. But I was educated. I had all the requirements needed to be what? To be in police. If my father had not known that a girl child is equivalent to a boy child, I wouldn't have been here. So if someone is not educated, cannot express his or herself, even if it is a man, even if it is a what, even if it is a woman. So illiteracy is affecting us so much, because even if you are a man, you have the money, but when you are not educated, there are certain things you might not do that they are supposed to do for you. For example, you are writing a report about your business. The business is booming, but the report has to be done by someone. Maybe you've got an educated wife. It is the wife to do what? To make a report for you. So you might find yourself being inferior over that, because me, I'm not educated. Now there it is the woman coming in. That issue you call my what? My wife. So, but if someone is rich, is educated, will be free to do what? To express his or herself in public.
Yes, any other causes that we should know about?
There is gender inequality. We are trying to fight it, but the fact is a woman can never be equal to a man. Even if you are powerful, how? You need your what? The support of a man. So we are trying to bring gender equality between a man and a woman, but in the actual sense, it is not what? It is not there. You can say, women today, because of certain things that happen, you can find yourself, you are weak. A woman is breastfeeding, a woman is pregnant. We have certain issues that make us not equal to what? To a man. A man will be free the whole year if he's not what? He's not weak. So you find yourself not equivalent to a what? To a man. But that one is natural. But we are trying to come up. A man to be equal to what? To a woman. A woman to be equal to a what? To a man. But the issue will never, the gender inequality will never be there, because we have our natural effects that are putting us what? Below the man. But as if you are educated, you have some money, you have some power, there is somewhere you can stand and talk, this gender equality is at least low. So those are some of the causes that empower those perpetrators to carry out gender-based violence.
Now, without naming names and where it's safe for you to do so, can you take us through, as a member of the police force, some of the examples of gender-based violence in terms of cases that you witnessed? Because we want to understand who are the perpetrators, who are the people who carry out this violence, and who are the victims who suffer gender-based violence.
All of us are victims, I can say. And all of us are perpetrators, depending on the condition. Like, for example, I can give an example. Yesterday, I was having a case of an Indian man and a Ugandan woman. The Indian man, for him, is saying, for us in our culture, it is a woman to take care of us. And the woman needs support. The rent had accumulated to 2 million. The woman is saying, no, what can I do? He's looking at the woman. What are we doing? What are we supposed to do? You look for money. So for him, what he knows in his culture is to put food on what? On the table, full stop. Other things of education, of rent, of medical, he doesn't know. So we are trying to explain to him, please, do something about the rent, because when they chase you out of the house, there is nowhere you are going to be going. He was like, madam, what are we supposed, what can we do? So we could just look at the man as if, but for him, he was very confident in their culture. It is the woman to take care of what? A man. So we were like, how can we help these people? Indeed, we were confused until the woman said, me, I'm used to my man. Now that you have also confirmed it is me taking care of the home, let me go and look for the what? For the man. It is me who got this man for myself. So they went. The woman is the one now trying to look for east and west to get the money. So some cultural beliefs, I think. Because imagine a man seated at home. If I get 10K, they eat food. If I don't get, I have not gotten. And I found that in Uganda. That is his excuse. For us in India, it is a woman to do what? To provide for the family. Once you are married to me, you are supposed to provide. Also, economic violence is also happening so much to the women these days. When a woman is working, like in COVID, we had such issues so much. Remember, most men work within town here, and the town was what? Was closed.
It's closed.
So the women who work in the market, who could sleep there, who have some small shops where they were the one do what? Operating. Remember, the man was used to be the man in the what? In the house. Now time has come, the man has no what? So when the when the woman goes for work, he sleeps in the market from Monday to Saturday. When Sunday goes back home, the man is like, you bring here the what? It is me to budget. That one caused a lot of violence in the what? In the families. So also another form of violence, gender-based violence, is like some men believe once a woman is married to you, is your sexual machine. Every time you want sex, you have to get it, whether she wants or what or not. We have seen very many people, they are like, Bananga Fande, this is too much. There is no time that's for resting, but every day the man wants. And it has become a problem to them. Yet a man has to be in need as a woman also. But if you're a woman, for us, and you are married, once the woman wants, automatically you also have to want. Which is a what? Violence. Let the woman also at times want. I've seen it happening. People are complaining every day. And also some women are doing it as a punishment. They are punishing men. They're like, today you annoyed me. No sex tonight. And it has become what? A punishment. Yet sex is for what? For enjoyment. And it has now become violence. And it's very common in my office. Also, there is also another example I always get of a certain religion that I won't mention, where for them when a girl grows like up to 17, they are looking at that girl as a property. They no longer want to provide. They don't pay fees. They are targeting a certain man in their community to marry off the what? The girl. That is another sexual violence part to the girl child. But also, there are also some people who are like, when a boy makes 17, he has to go to a certain course and he stops there. So you find people have different views about this gender-based violence. Others don't know that what they are doing is wrong, actually. Others just don't know. They just see that if a woman has gotten breasts, the next thing is marrying off. Certain women, they are there knowing, for us, we are not supposed to work. My husband refused me from what? From working. So when things turn around, that is when someone opens up the eyes and it's like, Umbe, this can also happen. So in this due course, I think everyone, as a man or a woman, we need to all practice our efforts. We are like, I'm a woman, but I think I'm supposed to be doing this. I can put this on table. I can help my husband in this. As a man, I can help my woman in this. Because the needs are very many, and the country we are living in is very expensive. So let us leave this gender-based violence, saying if for you a woman, you be at home. As a man, I go for work. As a man, I'm supposed to go for drinking. As for you, are taking care of the children. We need to balance these things.
Definitely, and something important that you mentioned and that many people may not be aware of is the fact that men are also victims of gender-based violence.
True. It is true.
And one of the issues with fighting gender-based violence amongst men, now I have to clearly mention, because I know there are many women out there who might be angry, but when we're talking about men, yet women are also affected. Yes, women are the most affected, young girls, according to the statistics, and it's true. There needs to be a lot of empowerment when it comes to women empowerment to ensure that issues like gender-based violence against women are curtailed. But also coming to the men, for instance, the Deputy Speaker Thomas Taiba also mentioned that shelters need to be created for victims of gender-based violence, including men. And so one of the issues that has come forth is that many men who are victims don't report. Either fear to report because they fear people will laugh at them, or they fear, yes, that's the biggest issue. They fear that the police won't believe them, or the community will laugh at them, or people will not take them seriously when it comes to reporting their wives as perpetrators of gender-based violence.
Yes, it is really happening to men, and very many men are suffering. And to my own view, I think it is how they were raised. In our culture, they always say a man is supposed to be a man. Even if you are having a problem.
A man does not cry.
When you fall down, you stand up, you a man. You are not supposed to do what? To cry. You don't cry for help. Now this is a man imagining a woman has been torturing her for almost 3 months. He puts himself in the knocking at the police door that my woman has been doing what? Torturing me. Sincerely, I also believe how we were raised and our tradition have controlled men so much. And I always call upon, if I see a man coming to my office to report, I can leave everything I do and I attend to you. Because I know if I don't assist, the next thing we are going to hear, it is death. A man, if he's not helped, and what is fun about it, if someone gets courage to come and report, they don't come back. They don't come back. They are like, now, when like we take a summon to the woman, is like, I think the woman also laugh at them. Now, how did you start at police? So the next day you are calling the man that how far with our case? Madam, may I left those issues? Let the woman do whatever what they want. But it is so affecting men because they were raised not to cry for help. But for a woman, even if you just abuse, they come. I find my husband is abusing me every day. How can you help me? You have to summon the man and you talk about it. But even if a woman is abusing the man, if the man gets courage of reporting, he doesn't come back. So that thing is affecting the men so much. And I urge them to always stand up for their rights, because they also have rights as men.
Now, Afande, on this serious issue, it is very incumbent upon us because when you look at Uganda, we are well stacked when it comes to laws, and when it comes to how protected we are against different vices in our society as per the law. Now, for instance, in Uganda, we have a lot of laws that ensure we are well protected when it comes to gender-based violence, and these laws include the Penal Code Act 2010, the Children Amendment Act 2016, and the Female Genital Mutilation Act 2010, among others. Now, the Director of Advocacy at World Vision, Ms. Irene Kagoya, said Uganda has all the good laws and policies against gender-based violence, but added that they are not implemented. Now, as a member of the police force with this backing from the law, why is it still a problem when it comes to gender-based violence? If police is well protected by the law, well strengthened and empowered by the law to fight this vice, if the courts have all the relevant laws that they have to fight this vice, then why are we still seeing this vice being rampant in our society?
It is true, people have stayed in violence. Even if we talk, it is happening. Even if we have done what we are supposed to as police or as law enforcers, the vice has still remained in what? In the society. Reason being, people fear to like, someone will be like, what will people say? If I'm a man, I've being beaten by a woman, what will people say? So that fear in men, it is affecting them to come and open up a case against the what? The woman. Yet we have all what we can do for him, and he can get justice. So the fear people have is affecting them, and it is still keeping that vice within us. The gender-based violence is still within us because people fear. And people cannot open up because they are doing what? They fear. I'm like, what? How will I start? How will I go to police? What will be done to me? What if I do A, B, C, D, and then this happens? That fear is stopping people from doing what? From getting the justice from police or from court. Because even if police doesn't help, the court is there. If the court within your area doesn't help, the high court is there. But people fear to do what? To report or to open up. Another reason why I see that we still have gender-based violence is denial. We are still in denial. We can't believe that this has happened. This has happened and I need to do something about it. Someone is like, I was beaten by my husband. Maybe I was wrong. I deserved the what? The beating. Yet there is justice for it under the Domestic Violence Act. You are not supposed to be beaten as a mature person.
Actually, one of the officials from government are talking about how one of the problems we have in the fight against gender-based violence is cultural norms and practices, like you mentioned, that some women find that it is okay and it's the norm for men for their husbands to beat them.
I even heard that once a man is not beating you, that doesn't love you. But how is love connected to the beatings, sincerely? So some women are also just funny, because I can't see it that when I'm not beaten, I'm not loved. I hear some cultures believe like so. So all the denial also do what? Is also keeping, you can't believe that this has happened and I have to do something about it. So you are there in self-denial, they have beaten me, I report, I do what? So you are there, you are not yet sure whether it is violence. Also, we are still having it because some people, they have to protect their names. If an MP goes to report that he was battered by the husband, I think it can make the headlines. So I think some keep quiet because they have a name to keep. They can't do something because when I do so, my voters will say what? I'm a police officer. If I go to report my husband, what will my bosses say? But it is justice that is needed. If anything bad has happened, you go and report. Open up a case against your husband. If you cannot solve by yourself, because there are certain issues you can do and solve, but there are issues that you need the assistance from the law. Now, if you say I'm a big person, I cannot, Mrs. So and so cannot report Mr. So. That name you are protecting, but for you are affected. So we are still having that problem because people are like, I'll be put on TV, I'll be the news headlines, I have a name protect, I'll not, if I report my husband, next time I'll not get votes. And this gender-based violence is happening even to big people. We hear very many rich people having disagreements. And once it is heard, it becomes the what? The news of every day. So people stay in violence because they have a name to what? To protect. And if they have not reported, you have no way of knowing. We need someone to come and make a report. We start from there. Also, empowerment. Like we can be having a couple when someone is completely disabled. There is nothing someone can do. And this someone who is empowered is violating this one's rights. It's like, now for you, what can you do? Like if you're a woman, you are not educated, you don't have a job, there is no power you are having in the home. So this one who is empowered is going to to stepping on you, because there is no what? There is nothing you can do. You are not educated. In financial terms, you are not there. In the social power, you cannot stand in front of people and talk. So we are still having that problem because certain people are not empowered at all. At all, someone cannot do anything for his or herself. Also, why we are still having it is hope. Some people stay in violence hoping that things will be better. But once violence starts in a home, if it is not solved, it cannot go away by itself. It just grows bigger and bigger. So let us not keep that false hope by not opening up. We need to open up cases. We have the penal code where we can help, the Domestic Violence Act. You come and open up a case. For us, we know where your case will belong, even if you come for consultation. By the way, I always want people to come. I've come to consult. I have such and such an issue. I was passing by, but I'm a resident of Masaka. I can assist you. Go to Masaka police station, ask for such and such office, because most of these cases are reported in Child and Family Protection Unit and the Gender Desk. So I direct you, you go and ask for such and such an office. You will get direct assistance. But some people don't want to ask. They are just there in their comfort zone, but when they are suffering. So I always call upon to come and open up cases. Even if you come and consult, it is okay. Come and consult. We give you certain guidance, even counseling only. We can talk to one partner and someone can give one explanation how he's going through. And you see, at him or herself is the problem. You counsel the person goes back, they become fine. But people, they don't want to consult. They don't want to consult.
One of the challenges that has been raised by MED is the issue of funding. Is it a big issue that there are lack of financial resources to get some headway in this fight against gender-based violence?
Of course, the case to move on, it needs funds. That is the fact. Because at times we need medical evidence. At times we need to move to the ground. At times we need to reach to the community. At times we need shelter to first keep the victim at police. But you find your hands tied, you have nowhere to keep the victim. Okay, you have secured a small place, the feeding. So the process, moving here and there, it needs a lot of funds. That also fails our cases to move on. And you find most victims are the less empowered. They have nothing, but they need justice. So the funds are needed to follow up such cases, such that a victim gets justice.
As well as to ensure that there are shelters that are constructed for many of the victims of gender-based violence who ultimately run away from home where the violence is being perpetrated. So there is much funding needed indeed. So one, what is police doing to fight gender-based violence? And two, what can we do as ordinary family members, as ordinary civilians, members of communities, to ensure that gender-based violence is far from our society?
As police, the whole organization has put offices specifically for such cases. Like the Child and Family Protection Unit office, it is there at every major station, every division, every district station. That office is there specifically to handle child and family related cases. If the child is the complainant, if the child is a victim, if it is a man complaining, if it is a woman. But women are mistaking that office to be theirs. They're like, Afande, this is our what? Office. But the office is for man, woman, and children. Even people in your family, what? Family setting. There is also another gender desk where cases of defilement, rape, forced sex are what? Are handled. And also police has also put community policing, where we go to the community, we sensitize the community about certain cases. If so and so happens, you report to police. So we are creating awareness on certain cases that people don't do what? Don't know. And we are even arresting the perpetrators, at least in that we have done so, and people are taken to court and are convicted. So we have also tried to do something about it. Even if someone comes and is like, this family office, we are not supposed to be detained, but we detain. And if you don't solve the issue, you go up to court. So as police, we have tried to do community policing, community awareness.
And outreach.
Outreach.
So as members of the society, civilians who we can't arrest people, so what can we do to ensure that, because the old adage that goes prevention is better than cure is perfect, how can we ensure that there are no cases of gender-based violence in our communities?
Yes, as the community, let us acknowledge this problem. Let us accept that this problem is really within our community, and we need to do something about it. If we are like, our grands used to be like that, we are acknowledging the problem is there and we are living with it normally. So we need to acknowledge the problem and we do something about it as a community. If you see anything that is harmful to you, there are some things abusing you because you're a woman, do something about it. Don't say, even our grands used to be like that. We have also to know the risks. Gender-based violence has very many risks. You can die. You can become mentally ill because of depression if you are stressed every now and then. So know the risks. You can get pregnant if you are sexually abused when you are not ready. If you are forced into marriage, will you enjoy that marriage? So know the risks that can happen when violence is on you. So when you see anything that the lights are coming, do something about it. And you can also stop to, as a community, we can stop to blame the victim. There are some people, when someone sees a woman crying, it's like, now why are you crying? Only that, your husband has beaten you. Have you died? Don't blame the victim, but at least encourage, empower, assist, do anything about the victim. Also, as a community, we can challenge certain norms that are not favoring this generation. There are norms of 1900. Let us challenge them. A woman is not supposed to sit on the chair. Why? Why? Is it bad to sit on the chair? So we can challenge certain norms as a community, and we balance the equation. Also, communities have to take action. If you see violence within a certain group of people, take action, speak about it, open up, report, do something about what has happened. They say women and girls are the most victims, but even men are victims, very many. A man can come to the office and cannot even explain what he's going through. He's just crying. He's not shedding tears, but deep inside the heart you are seeing that the pain he has is very deep. So if he has not gotten a chance and someone to explain to his problems, the next thing he might commit suicide. He might do something to the family, he might kill the wife. And we have seen it happening. Violence ending up to death. Someone kills the other, the poison part. So, as a community, it is our responsibility to stop this. Because if we are like, for us in our culture, we believe in this, but if it is harmful, please let us stop it. Let us adapt the new one. Nowadays it has increased because of the education we are having. If you are educated, you are empowered. There's intermarriages. A Muganda married to a natural. But like if the virtual culture is saying so and so, the Baganda culture is saying so and so, the couple can adapt to something that can help them to stay in harmony. So, as a community, we have a lot to do about it. As police and the justice side also does its part. Please, the cases are there, and don't die in silence. You have to come and report to the police.
Yes, we have to report, and we must play our role when it comes to ending gender-based violence. Thank you so much, Afande Agnes Nantume, for taking us through how we can respond to this problem of gender-based violence. It's time to fight against it, starting with our families, starting with us, and then our families, then the community as a whole, then our country, and then the world. But the buck starts with us. Thank you so much for joining us on Issues at Hand, and we continue to discuss pertinent issues. We shall return on Monday. For now, have a lovely weekend. God richly bless you.